Some of you have never actually learned how to apologize, have you?
Get that stuff out of here! It's Southwest Bias!
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias presented by the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury and need help, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at thehusbandandwifelawteam.com. And we are live from Studio K, brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. You look at things in a different lens when you get further away from it. And I remember this summer, I think a lot of us do, how crazy the takes were when it came to the Phoenix Suns, their moves, the direction of the franchise. And I've learned in my life that sometimes the best thing you can do is admit that you're wrong. It's a lesson my wife taught me, continually teaches me, attempts to teach me. I'm trying my hardest, but sometimes the best you can do is just admit, hey, I screwed up. I was wrong in this. And I think Suns owner Mat Ishbia is truly pushing for this. He tweeted it yesterday when he said, always fun to see the so-called experts thought about the Suns before the season. Proud of what we're building here in Phoenix, and we are just getting started. Yeah, people were completely wrong about this team, and we've talked about it here. It's been pretty embarrassing how bad the takes were from national media, from local media, from fans, from people that have a certain betting app on their, futures market app on their social accounts. Just anybody and everybody that thought that they could dunk on the Phoenix Suns because of what happened. New GM, trade Kevin Durant, new head coach, a much leaner roster when it came to payroll and top-end talent. And it was, this team's ridiculous. They're going to be terrible. They're going to be awful. They're going to be a bottom feeder in the West. They're not going to be able to play. They have no draft picks. They're tanking without picks. And that is just not where they wound up. Some of the comments were insulting, let's be honest, to Jordan Ott, to Brian Gregory, even to Mat Ishbia. They're only hiring yes men. There's only 3 letters that matter. MSU, that's it. That's the only reason. This is horrible. I can't believe these guys. Burn it all down. Like, this was the kind of talk we heard from media, from social, pretty much from everywhere. You had places, outlets, people predicting 21 wins, if they're lucky, bottom of the West, no chance, no hope. Worst situation in the NBA. They're a joke. Trade Devin Booker. So I thought, you know what? It's time to call out these people on this program today, to put people to the mat and say, this was asinine and you should not have said it. Like this guy. They're going to win 38 games, but they're going to be a hell of a lot more entertaining than anything we saw over the last 2 years. And this moron. This year's team, I won't have 48 wins. Let's not kid ourselves. They won't. But if they surprise, they'll be in the play-in discussion. Maybe a play-in team. And I think they have the ingredients that 2013-14 team had. Yeah, it's time to call these people out. Now, I'm not going to go through the list. All right, we know that there were plenty of people that said egregious things. A lot of people in this town. And I'm not going to just put them on screen because you know what? You can go find all this. It's pretty easy to find the national takes, the local takes, the people that dragged Brian Gregory and Mat Ishbia and Jordan Ott, all these guys. Real easy to go find those takes. And you can do with it what you want. But I honestly think that people should apologize. And you're not going to hear that from a lot of media because some of them are too busy trying to tell you that a college coach should be being interviewed and hired by the Arizona Cardinals as your head coach. But honestly, they should be apologizing. And I'm going to be the first one to start. I was wrong. I was told I was being optimistic, and I had my head up my ass. That 38 wins and better than last year's team, what's wrong with you? You're a shill for the organization. I was wrong. I was wrong with where the ceiling of this team is. I was optimistic that they'd be interesting, that they'd fight for the play-in. I thought maybe they could be like that 2013 team. Not as many wins, but in that same vein. I was wrong. I'm man enough to admit it. This team's better than I thought they could be. Brian Gregory did a masterful job. And I said give him a chance, but I said, you know what, I'm a little concerned with the pedigree. Not the 30 years in basketball, but he had never really been in a front office. I was wrong. I was wrong on a lot of fronts. I did say that this team would be much better. They'd be more entertaining, that they'd have a chance to win a lot more games than last year's team, or at least a handful. But if I'm going to ask other people to sit here and apologize for their crappy takes, I'm willing to sit here and apologize for mine. This team has far surpassed what anybody thought could be possible. And they're going to continue to do that. They sit in fifth in the West today. If they win in Atlanta, something they have not done since 2014, I was running the social accounts for the Suns the last time they won a game. I was not a father, and I looked about 40 years younger than I look right now. All right? Yeah, I was running all those, watching the last time that they won in Atlanta. It's not a something that's a guarantee, but they could be fourth after tonight in the West. In checks watch January 23rd. Happy birthday, by the way, Mom. And they could be fourth in the West. They could be on the doorstep of having home court advantage. And yet nobody wants to say how wrong they were. Nobody genuinely wants to apologize to three men that they insulted their integrity. They insulted their basketball knowledge. Might be time to actually put up your hands and go, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Why are we not able to do that in this business? Because guess what? We do this 5 days a week. You know how many predictions we make? You know how many predictions are wrong? I would gather like 75% of the predictions you hear out of windbags like myself are not going to come true. So why is it so hard to say we're wrong? The Suns have impressed and shocked so many people. I think the only people that were incapable or not incapable, the only people that truly saw this potentially happening were people inside that building. Because I've been working with a leadership coach, a guy that actually is a former NBA coach. And he said to me, the first step is getting everybody in your building to buy into the vision. And once that happens, things can change dramatically. Brian Gregory, Mat Ishbia, Jordan Ott, they got everybody in that building to believe in the vision, to work together and strive for the same goal. And they did that. And I think they're the only ones that should get a pat on the back because they believed from word one. They built the vision. And there were so many bad takes that came out. Some still continue to come out. Some really bad takes, especially revolving around the trade deadline. But they were all wrong, and it's okay to say that. This Suns team is something special. And I love the fact that Mat Ishbia is not holding back. Take your victory laps, guys. When you make the playoffs, really dunk on some people. I hope their social account goes through and finds every one of us that said that they were not going to win, 40 plus games, and wind up just proving everybody wrong. I mean, Brian Gregory is going to be in the conversation for Executive of the Year. Honestly, probably should win it. Jordan Ott's going to be in the conversation for Coach of the Year. Probably should win it. And we had people in this town questioning every little move. And I hope their social media team donks on everybody when it comes to them winning. Myself included. Pull those clips and say, look at this clown. Because we were all so damn wrong about this team. And I got to applaud what they're doing. And I got to applaud the fact that, yeah, in January, they are taking a bit of a victory lap because nobody thought they'd be 10 games over 500. Nobody thought that they'd be knocking on the door of home court advantage within shouting distance of the second seed in the West. And nobody definitely thought they'd do it with Jalen Green having missed all but 3 games of the season so far. The Phoenix Suns are for real. There's a lot of people that need to apologize for it. And I'll take the first step. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the dreads behind the desk. It's Kevo. Kevin, how are you, my friend?
Life is good. Number 1 team in the country, Espo.
Oh, we're not talking about the Suns. Oh, we're talking about U of A.
What?
Right.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Undefeated, right? You're so used to it.
Wrong podcast. Wrong podcast.
Hey, man. Hey, good basketball is good basketball, and it's nice to have it in the state except in Tempe.
No, yeah, but it really is cool to see what the Suns are doing, especially with like the new culture that is being incited there. I really love that, and I also think that the Jordan Ott hiring, while people might have downplayed it in the moment, like how incredible has he been to prove all these people wrong and really show his worth and his knowledge for the game of basketball. But yeah, I love this, Espo. I love that we're calling out clowns like that guy in the first 2 clips on this show.
Oh, I mean. That guy is a big, giant clown. I mean, some people have said, a fat clown that doesn't know what he's talking about and should keep his mouth shut. I'm not one of them. I'm much kinder than that. But
you would never say that.
I would never say that. But that's certainly what some have said. People have told me. The mean streets of Twitter have certainly said it. People should just admit they're wrong.
Yeah.
Some people have tried to double down in the last month and a half. And I'm like, why? What are the stats and your eyes telling you? It's a good basketball team. They built it right, at least for this year.
Yeah, no. They say a sign of wisdom is being able to admit when you're wrong when presented with new information. And so I feel like you gotta be wise. You gotta wisen up. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the first time anybody's accused me of being wise. And Kevin, you don't have to just say it just because I'm the boss. That's fine. Another thing that the Suns have done really well, they've taken care of their fan base. Not only can you see top-notch basketball, you can also buy some food after you've bought the tickets. Mat Ishbia and the Suns announced today and some new items to their $2 value menu. You already had the hot dogs, the water, the soda, the bag of chips, and the bag of popcorn. But no, that is not all. That is not all. Now you can get a taco that's beef or bean or an ice cream sandwich. Yeah, thanks for doing that after I found out I was diabetic. I appreciate that, guys. Now I can't partake in the $2 ice cream sandwiches. But this is another thing that got made fun of. This. Oh, well, at least you got your $2 hot dog. Oh, guess what? This is actually a good thing for fans. They've done a lot of good things for the fans over the last year and a half, 2 years, to try to make it better. And sure, on-court product the last few years was not the greatest. And they admitted that, and they changed it. So now, guess what? You got good basketball, you got cheap food. Outside of the trophy that we all want at some point, it's pretty damn good. Plus, we got the Ring of Honor. Now those banners actually back in the arena. That was one of the first things they did, which was one of the most disrespectful things that the last regime did by moving it out into the concourse. A lot of great things, a lot more to come, I'm sure. And I'm looking forward to what they do on the court and what they do off the court to continue to make this fan base actually matter. It is a far cry from where we've been and what we've seen other places. It's damn good to see a team try to make their fan base feel heard, try to make their fan base feel important, and try to make it affordable for the next generation of fans to be able to get in the building and be able to see basketball. Because you know how you fall in love with the game? Seeing it firsthand, right? That's how I fell in love with it. That's how generations have fallen in love with it, and new generations are going to get to as well. By the way, hello to all the bias in the chat, Anime and Hoops, Drew, Deborah, Shaft, everybody else that's in there. Hit that like button while you're here. But I want to bring up Drew's comment from the very beginning of the stream. And Kevin, no problem if you can't pull it up. But he said he loves that Jordan Ott has gone with the 11 haircut. It's a power move. If you guys have not seen the early seasons of Stranger Things, yes, he has the Millie Bobby Brown 11 haircut, and I do love it. He is manipulating the board just like with his mind, just like 11 has in basketball or in Stranger Things.
Did you know her actual name? I learned this recently. Maybe I'm just slow to the game. But her actual name is Millie Bonnie Bon Jovi now because she married Bon Jovi's kid. So her name was never Bobby in the middle. It was Bonnie. I
thought you were going to say it was Millie Vanilli.
I probably should have.
And that was going to be a mind bender as well. YTIF21 says, nothing wrong with an all-beef glizzy. All right. We can go with that. That's a Friday take. Chef says hot dogs. Does anyone really eat a hot dog these days? Do you even know what's put in those things? Honestly, Chef, if I looked at anything that was put in any of our food, I probably would stop eating altogether. So Jordan Ott is Timothy Oliphant is what Gray Sensei says in the chat. And then we've got a greetings from Ukraine. Suns up. All right. Hello. I wonder if you became a Suns fan back in the Alex Len days. Glad to have you here as well. And hello says, great 30-year-old joke, Espo. That's all I got. I got old references because I'm a 42-year-old man that got off the pop culture train when my kid was born and probably before that. So if you don't like it, well, you're here. A joke carrying over from Sons. Matt to the Power Joe wants to know bun or no bun. That's the question we ask all the time. We'll ask our next guest coming up after the break. It's Mark McClune from Arizona Family right after halftime. Window Depot. I got to finish a bathroom. I actually got to start a bathroom. My wife and I had a conversation about it last night. She's like, we should take down this wall. It's time to change these cabinets. We need to add a mirror, a vanity. And I said, okay, let's go to Window Depot. And she said, Window Depot? I don't want a window in the bathroom. And I said, no. It's more than a window store. It is a store that we can get everything that we need to redo that bathroom and so much more, right? And that is what we're going to do. This weekend, I think we're going to go over there as long as the rain's not too bad and check them out. But if it is too bad, we're going to go right to their website at windowdepot.com and shop for what we're looking for. And the best part, okay, contractors love them, but people like myself, homeowners, they love it too. Great prices, best inventory that you're going to find, and free designers that will help work with you to actually get the design for your bathroom, your kitchen, whatever you're working on that they have. They'll take care of you. And I got to tell you right now, you got to stop by one of their 7 Valley locations, actually Arizona locations. It's not just the Valley. Even down in Tucson, you can go there. And you can see why they're more than just a window store. And the husband and wife law team. Have you been in a serious accident? Have you suffered an injury? Is there anything that has been a problem from that accident? Well, you're going to need a lawyer. I had one for my accident. It was a total disaster because I didn't do my research. If you do your research, I think it's going to lead you to the husband and wife law team. Mark and Alexis Breyer have lived in the Valley, and they've lived law. They are lawyers, and their firm is lawyers that care about getting the result that you want. Plus, they guarantee that you're going to be able to hear from your lawyer and that they are ready to go to trial if necessary. So the husband and wife law team is ready to help you out. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you. I think we might have to ban Drew from the chat. He makes one good point, and then he says if Ishbia really loves the fans, he'll bring back the gray sleeve jerseys. There's one man that I know that has that opinion, and it's Ayrton, our producer of PHNX Suns. I need to know if the rest of the bias in the chat feel that way about the gray jerseys. Please let me know. The next man needs no introduction, so I'm not going to give him one, but I'm going to thank our halftime performance, who was a guy from the same area as Mark McClune. Matthew McConaughey coming out and giving us like a 2.5 minute pump up speech for our halftime performance was unbelievable.
All right, all right.
Just for Mark McClune, our resident, Texas fan. Mark, how are you?
I'm good. Have I told you my Matthew McConaughey story?
No, but go ahead.
Well, so he was a couple years older than me at the University of Texas, and we were both Delta Tau Delta Gamma Iotas. And I only saw him a couple times. He'd already done Dazed and Confused. So there was this table. I think everybody had one of these tables in the 80s and the 90s, like outside. You could be either be like around a pool or like some just outside patio furniture. It was like iron, and it had one of those like frosted tops. Did y'all have one at the Espo household?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, we did. My
So
parents had it until just recently. So
was it yellow?
well, eventually it became yellow. Yes.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It was either painted yellow. So apparently he had one of those tables at the fraternity house, and he just left it for the house. And I don't know if he was like, I don't have anything to do with my table. Do you want my table? But somebody, for some reason, over the course of a couple of years, this became like the holy grail. Like we had to like move it. You had to. That's McConaughey's table. You can't. You gotta take care of his table. So I'm gonna fess up to this. So we had beach bash. We had a bunch of engineers in our house. We built an above ground pool. Put 2 tons of sand in the house, and I was cleaning up as a pledge. And McConaughey's table was like here, and then there was a big I can't I'm doing stack of wood up here. I had one more 2x4. I throw it up on the stack of the wood, and it comes shooting down and shatters McConaughey's table. So if you were a pledge, what would you do in that situation? Would you fess up, or what would you do?
You blame it on the guy that you think's going to get in over you in the house.
Well, I just shut the door to the shed, and I just kind of cleaned up the glass, and I didn't even think about it for like 2 weeks. And then we were sitting in there one day for dinner, and someone rolls the table, and I just, man, that really stinks. That's that, man. I think a piece of wood fell off the pile. So I don't know if there's a statute of limitations at the Delt House, but yeah, it was me. It was me who
M-
broke his table.
Mark, that's not all right, all right, all right. Okay? That's just not cool, dude. Not
It
cool.
ended up being all right. I was all right, all right, all right. So
That is
that
that
worked
is a
out.
true crime there, all right? You left your fraternity brothers dazed and confused. That's
They
just not
weren't the
cool.
table. Like we should have thrown the table away, but nobody would throw it away because it was his, and we just it was our link to. He might come back and want his table.
Wow. I think that that's just horrible, Mark. Speaking of horrible, what was your prediction at the beginning of the year when it came to wins and losses for the Phoenix Suns?
Over 31 and a half, which is not what Bill Simmons predicted. I actually have been having a lot of fun with this on the news lately. And I mean, what are they at? They're 27, 28. I think they're 27. So this
27-17.
is, this is, they've already exceeded expectations. And it's just everything from here on out is gravy. And, you think about the 7 seconds or less Suns, and what were they, the third, fourth best team in the Western Conference. And, it was good to go for it, but it's just kind of nice to be in the mix. It's nice to turn the Suns on Arizona's family sports, and have something to get excited about and think you can pull out a victory. I think the Suns are in a great spot. So I'd go down there and get some ice cream sandwiches and burritos, and if not, watch it on TV. I want to be in a huge hurry to make the next move with the roster, because it's the chemistry. It jumps off the screen right now.
Yeah, I'm very much there. You know what, I apologize today because as much as I was one of the positive, guys when it came to the hires and everything, I only predicted him to have 38 wins. And then I was comparing him to the 2013 team. And I said, we all know that they're not going to win 48. I was wrong. I admitted it. And I hope more people do, because I don't understand why admitting that you're wrong in this business is so difficult for some people.
Well, and then based on the set of facts you had, there was no reason to give you that. I mean, if you would have told me that they were going to win 48 games, I probably would have, wanted to know what you were what you were smoking. So this is a pleasant surprise, but I think this time last year, where we were, and then the Brian Gregory hire, it's a guy who knows basketball, and the whole Michigan State thing, that's been such a sensitive topic, but it's like, that's a place that knows basketball. These guys know what they're doing. They've won national championships. So why should we be surprised to see a group that knows basketball start to get the basketball right here?
Yeah, I was smoking what McConaughey probably was in your frat house, according to most people. With that, you look at the Arizona Cardinals coaching search. What do you make of that right now? A few more candidates that came out this week. We're hearing Campinelee, LaFleur are still in the race. Maybe Raheem Morris, Vance Joseph's name won't go away. What do you make of the whole thing right now?
Well, I mean, I think if they found their guy, pulling the trigger would be prudent. But I mean, I wouldn't finish up this coaching search without talking to everybody on the Rams and the Seahawks that I could. I'd talk to everybody in the Niners. I'd raid the division. I'd get every idea from every single person who's trying to beat you about what's wrong with your franchise and how it gets fixed. I love the idea of Don Shula's grandson coming in here just because he looks like Don Shula, and I think that'd be fun to have on the sidelines. But I think the Rams. I mean, I'm going to pick the Rams this weekend. I think Matt Stafford is just heads and shoulders above everybody. He's playing at such a high level, and Sean McVay. We throw around the term genius. I mean, the guy is a football genius. So I think they find a way to get it done in Seattle. But yeah, I would talk to everybody. I mean, I'm okay with a Kubiak. Maybe you bring two Kubiaks in here. I think your first order of business is to get competitive in the NFC West, and the best way to do that is probably hire somebody in the NFC West.
Uh, do you think that Shula would get free steaks at the grandfather's steakhouse out at Gila River Wild Horse Pass?
Oh, he better. He better. I mean, he better do that and dress like his grandfather on the sidelines. And yeah, I mean, it's you just see the picture of him and you're like, that's Don Shula.
Yep.
That's amazing. Get him out here. And he knows. I would imagine he knows how to beat McVay. And there are so many challenges in the NFC West. I would put that at the top of the list because McVay has owned the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, Anthony Campanelli was a name that came up this week, the DC for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And are you ready have you seen any of the clips of him that have circulated on the internet from Hard Knocks?
Just a little bit. I mean, I think they love him inside the building and would hate to have him leave. And that's the kind of turnaround you're looking for is a culture creator who can, you get the coach and the quarterback right. I feel like there's so much talent on NFL rosters, everything falls into place. I know it's much, easier said than done in that situation, but that's the guy. If that's the guy who's leading you out of the tunnel, I understand. I think I understand why the Jaguars have made they vaulted back into the playoff chase like they did.
Mark, that the tradition is we play a game here on the program. Are you ready for today's game?
I look forward to this every week. I can't say no.
It's Anthony Campanelli, Rocky, or Mob movie. I'll give you a quote. You have to tell me where it came from. The first one, everybody understands an ass whooping.
Anthony Campanelli.
It is. That is correct. All right.
Hire him.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Rocky.
Correct. Once they
Rocky
know
5
I'm wearing a
with Tommy
wire,
Gunn.
I'll never be allowed back in the Italian-American club again.
Broke up. Can you say that one more time?
Once they know I'm wearing a wire, I'll never be allowed in the Italian-American club again.
Mob movie.
Anthony Campanelli from when he was on, I believe it was Hard Knocks on the sideline, talking to his fellow coaches.
Well, you know what was so great? I mean, like that's the kind of stuff that like Bruce Arians would say, he'd fill up your notebook. You'd have more sound bites than you knew what to do with. And I think that's the kind of thing that you got to be the show. You got to be entertaining. You got to get people talking about you. And that's fantastic.
All right, next one. Nobody owes you nothing. You owe yourself.
Anthony Campanelli.
Rocky.
Which one? Is it 5 with Tommy Gunn?
No, I don't believe it was 5 with Tommy Gunn. Nobody quotes that movie. And then the last one. All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
Anthony Campanelli.
Tony Montana from Scarface.
You sure it wasn't Tommy Gunn from Rocky 5?
It was not. I don't believe he spoke English well enough, even though he was the American fighter in that movie, to say something so eloquent. So
The best part about that movie is they're doing a live shot with the camera and the reporter, and there's no like wire going into the camera to transmit the signal back to the station.
Yep.
Like they just were like, nah, nobody will notice.
That when it, was
Other than
that
that,
during
the
the
movie is
street fight
totally
scene?
believable. Yes. Yeah. If I remember right. It's been a while since I watched Rocky V.
The dumbest scene in movie history where they're fighting on the street. Anyways, he is Mark McClune. You can follow him on social at Mark McClune. You can see him every night, every weeknight at 10:30 on Arizona Family Sports. You can watch him there. He's talking Suns, and you can watch the Suns game tonight on Arizona Family Sports. Mark, what else you got coming up?
Yeah, getting ready for the Phoenix Open. So done quite a bit of planning for that, and just taking a little time off here. I got some kids playing basketball, so going to a game tonight and going to a game next Tuesday and Friday, and then going to crank it up for the Open. We got a lot of Suns games on our air starting on Sunday with the Miami Heat, and I think we go Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Excited to see the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers come to town, and yeah, we'll see. And when there's a Cardinals coach, we'll go wall to wall with it. So, lock it in, azfamily.com, the app, 3TV. You can watch it on Zeem, or you can just send me an email and I'll send you the link.
How about live studio audience? When are we going to do that?
Come on in, man. Yeah, Espo goes into the Arizona's Family Library, and what does he find?
I don't have the licensing fee to use any of your tapes though, so I'll just have to verbally describe it to the people. So
that's how we can recreate it. Yes.
Have a great weekend, Mark. We'll talk to you next week. That is another edition of Southwest Bias in the books. Got to give a big thank you to the dreads behind the desk. Kevo back there. You can follow him at Kevo Posts. Is that correct? That is correct. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, people say stupid things. They should apologize, especially me. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.